Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Momo and I'm not really good at this. This is literally one of my first ever audio um video. Yeah. At first this is the line art I did. And after the line art is done, the first thing I do is put up the background color. When I fill up the background color, I usually fill it up with the pen brush, but it all depends on what you want to do. And after that, I would like to add some gradients like this from the other artworks that I have done, and from those colors I made a color palette over here so that it can be useful and helpful for me for this artwork that I'm going to do today. Pause the video and take the color palette from here. The one that I'm circling right now is going to be used for my skin tone, and then this one is used for the background color, and then this is going to be used for my hair color, and then this is going to be used for my clothes. So I sectioned it differently so that I don't get confused between what all color I need. And for your information, you can also use a lot of kind of gradients, like how I use a lot of gradients, and you can change all of those gradients in the color wheel. So the first thing I usually do is color the skin with the base color with a pen brush. Usually I don't really use the fill bucket tool, because sometimes because of the line art it might be a bit of not connecting with each other, for which it might be not really efficient for me, and the entire canvas will be filled with the color, so I'm not really fine with that. So that's the reason I use the pen. And after that I use the ink dropper to use this color, which is similar to this color. And after that I pressed the I'm not really good with this, but the second step that I did was I created a new layer and I clipped it, and when I clipped it I ink dropped and used these three colors for the shadows. And as you can see, without this is like this, and with this is like this. The darker tone is used for the darker area, the darkest shade, where you know the light is not falling, and the lighter tone is used for where the light is falling. And you can see a bit of blush, which is used for the face, so that people can understand that it is a bit softer, and even at the knuckles, which is also the same color as of the blush that I gave on the cheeks. And the second layer, I will create another new layer and clip it, put some few details on it. For the details, you can see I used this color for the color of to color my lip color, and then I used some shadows that I can even change it on the color wheel, so that I will be doing that until and unless I get satisfied. And for these shadows that I did in the prior layer also, I used the watercolor and watercolor wet brush. Usually I keep it in 10% of color mixing level, but over here it's 50%. It's all depend on whichever satisfaction you might need. And after that I have used a bit of opaque color for the eyeball, and I have also did the dark brown color for the eyeliner, kind of a feel, so that you can understand that, oh, the depthness is there. The next is I created another layer and I clipped it, and I used the blending over here in the add filter. I had this thing in normal filter, you can see it's just a brown speckle over here. I used watercolor wet brush, and for multiply it, different filters will be giving different kind of a thing, and I usually prefer add or dodge for eye reflection. So this is the eye reflection that I had to give it. And then the next layer I clipped it was for highlights. As you can see, without it there is no highlights on the nose or the cheekbones, but with the highlights there are highlights. And in the iris you can see the pupil, if that's the name for it. Yeah. And since this is actually a dog puppy human, I made this pupil or iris a bit more elongated, since the animals used to have this kind of thing, I guess. Yeah. So the skin is done. Next thing is the cloth, and for the cloth I did the same thing by using the pen brush to fill in the shirt and the sock and the shoes, where in the second following prior layer I shaded it with this color. As you can see, then I did not use the darker shades at the beginning itself. This layer I will be shading it with a much darker tone. As you can see here, I shaded it with a much darker tone. And the next layer I colored the shoes with whatever colors you want. You don't need to have it like within these color ranges. You can even color it with whatever you want to. I'm not saying that you can't do it with this, of course you can, but I personally preferred to have it done by other colors, a bit more creative, I guess. So yes, the next thing I colored is the pant, and I used the purple color over here with the pen brush. And for the shades, remember that for the shades I did not use the pen brush, I used the wet watercolor brush. I usually use that for blending, and you can even change the opacity of it how much ever you want. And so the next thing I did was I did not have that color in this thing, so you can use the color palette over here, the color wheel, and I darkened the level of the purple over here, and I used it to shade. And after this, the next another color I used was I changed the hue from purple to blue, and with that color I made another darker layer of shades. And when the cloth is finally done, I moved on to the hair, and for the hair I used the gray color, kind of, yeah. So for the gray color I used this on the hair with the pen tool, and after that I highlighted it with this. And for the highlight, let me show you more clear and closely that for the highlights I first used the watercolor wet for doing the highlight until unless you're satisfied with it. And after doing that, you will lighten the color a bit more, because this color and the in color is a bit different, like not really that different, but it is a bit slightly different. So for the sharper strokes that you can see, those were done by pen brush. And after that, you can remove the palette brush from here. I wanted to make this into a cutesy anime picture, so I used this fill tool ellipse. You can see. Yes, so using this tool, I created dots like this, but I used the transform, decreased the size of this, for which it is now like this. And with this, I will now make more of it, duplicate it, and now I will be using the move tool to move it. Now it looks like a poster that I really wanted to do. PC, I made a lot of stickers and bitmat brushes. So here I made a cloud. You can see, you can make it by yourself too, by creating a bitmat image and setting it as a brush. I wrote his signature over here. Yeah, it looks pretty much the same, to be honest. Yes. And now you can merge all of these together. After I merged everything together, the body and the background together, it will look like this. Now I will merge skin and the background together, and this will look pretty much like this without the line art, nothing. And now, so that the line art looks a bit more lively, we can put it in protect alpha mode, and then we can change the color of the line art into similar to the skin color. And so done. I hope you all enjoy watching this video. I'm really not sure how this really turned out, but I tried my best to explain how to get everything done. You can use my artwork as a sample to help yourself. You can even go to my Instagram account or Twitter account to check out other artworks, and you can freely use it as an example or a sample to draw your own artwork. And there you go. Thank you for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed this video, and please appreciate the subscription of yours. Don't forget to like this video, and thank you. Bye.